Welcome back. In the last video, we learned what Scratch is, who created it, and why it is such a fun and simple way to start coding. In this video, we are going to take the next step and learn how to access Scratch and explore the Scratch interface. Let's dive in. Now, there are two ways you can access Scratch. The first way is through a web browser, and the second way is by installing it on your computer. To keep things simple and make sure everyone can follow along, we will go with the browser version. I want to mention that later on, I might switch to the installed version on my computer, but you don't have to worry, since you'll still be able to follow along because both versions work the same. So if you are going to use Scratch in a browser, you will obviously need a browser, and for this purpose, any browser will work. You can use Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Opera Mini, Firefox, or Safari. Just any browser will work. For me, I'll be using Chrome, so I'll open my browser now and head over to the URL bar at the top and type in scratch.mit.edu and click enter. Now you want to make sure that your computer is connected to the internet if you want to access Scratch using the browser, or even if you want to download it and install it on your computer. Now, since we'll be doing a lot with Scratch, it's a great idea to sign up for a personal account. But to keep things simple, I'm just going to click on this Start Creating button and head over to the Scratch interface. After clicking it, it will take some time for the Scratch interface to set up and load on our computer. Boom, we're here. So now the first thing you see when you open the Scratch interface for the first time is this window where you can watch some tutorials, some Scratch tutorials, and it's an excellent way to learn Scratch also. But I'm going to close this since we are going to walk through the interface, and this course is going to teach us just everything we need to know to get started with Scratch. So the first place I want to show you in the Scratch interface is the stage. You can see I'm moving my mouse around the stage. The stage is where we place our character in Scratch. The character in Scratch is referred to as a sprite. And if I scroll down there, we have this control area where we can change the name of our sprite. So I'm going to call it cat. We can change the position horizontally using this input box close to this X letter here. So I'm going to set it to 100, and you can see our character moves from 0 to 100 on the stage. Now if I go to the Y input, which is how we change the position of our sprite vertically, I'm going to type in 50 and click enter, and you see it changes the position of the sprite on the stage vertically. We also have these two buttons here where we can hide our sprite and show our sprite. And right here on this input, we can control the size of our sprite. We can make it smaller by typing a small value, or we can make it bigger by typing a bigger value. And right here on this input box, we have direction. If I click on it, you see this control box appear on the top where I can rotate the direction of our character. We can rotate, we can flip. Yeah, we can flip, and we can also do that by just typing a number, and the default is 90. Good. So now we have learned about the stage and the control box of changing the position, the size, the direction, and the visibility of our sprite. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to import a sprite and a backdrop. So let's say I delete this sprite. It's going to ask me if I want to delete, and I'm going to click yes. And I can bring in a new sprite by clicking on this button and just choose any sprite of my choice. And if you look at the top here, we can filter by the category. If we go to animals, it's going to give us just animals, and you can see the cat we add there. If we go to people, it gives us people. We have fantasy, dance, music, sport, and so on. So I'm going to go to animal and choose the cat back, and here we have it on our stage. Let's say we don't like the way our stage is playing and we want to add a backdrop or a background to our stage. We can come over to this place and click choose a backdrop and select any backdrop of our choice. And just like choosing a sprite, we can filter by category. We can also search by typing a letter, and it gives us any backdrop that matches with what we type on this search input here. So I'm going to cancel it and just choose this one right here and place our character at the bottom. Now I want us to move over to this area. If you move over to this left hand side of the Scratch interface, we have 3 tabs. We have code, costume, and sound. The middle tab, which is costume, can change based on what we have selected. The reason why it is showing costume right now is because we have the sprite selected. If I should switch to the stage or the backdrop, it's now going to change to backdrops. If I select my sprite back, it's going to switch back to costume. So if I go to costume, we can change the appearance of our sprite. For example, I can change the hand to, let's say, red, and we can add more drawings to the costume of our character by just choosing a costume or drawing our own costume, which we are going to look at throughout this course. If I go to sound, we can play existing sound for a character or record our own sound, and we are going to get to that in the later part of this course. Now, the most exciting part and the first part we'll be using is code. If I go to code, you can see we have so many code blocks here. Not so many actually. We have motion, looks, sound, events, control, sensing, operators, variables, and my blocks. And we are going to see all this in action. Now, I want to show you how we can execute codes in Scratch. The first way we can execute codes in Scratch is by just clicking on a code block. If I click on this move 10 steps block, notice that the sprite moves on the stage. And we would want to do this when we want to make some foundational setup for our program before writing our code. The second way is by just dragging the blocks to this code area. So I'm going to drag in this event here, and don't worry, we'll talk about this event block in the next video. And I'm going to drag this move 10 step block and put it under. And anytime I click on this flag, because the code says when flag is clicked, move 10 step, the sprite will simply move. Now, let's take a look at the other icons on the Scratch interface. So right here we have settings where you can set your language and you can set your color mode. We also have file where you can load an existing Scratch file to the Scratch interface or save your program or code. We also have edit to restore Scratch and turn on turbo mode, and for now you don't need to know all this. And of course we have this tutorial button where you can click and learn more about Scratch, and then this debug button to spot errors in our code. We also have this stop button which we can use to stop executing our code. We have this join Scratch button for you to create a personal account, and we have this sign in button for you to sign into your Scratch account if you have created one. And then we have these buttons to change the layout of the interface. For example, if you want the stage to be smaller, we can click on this button. So the stage is now smaller and we now have more space to write our code. Or if you want the stage to take the full screen, we can do that by clicking on this button, and if you want to toggle it back, you can also click here. I'm going to keep it on the default. So that's all for now about the Scratch interface. In the next video, we are going to look at coordinates and direction, and you don't want to miss it. Now, after this video, I want you to navigate the Scratch interface and just try to do exactly all what you just watched during this video. And in the next video, I'm going to see you. Remember, you don't want to miss it.